back to Guru Talk, the show where we talk about topics relevant to contest prep, bodybuilding, and stuff that us gurus like to talk about. And today joining me is my good friend Brian Hoydic. Brian, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And we're going to be talking about junk meals, specifically the McDonald's burger and fry meal that I like to use, and I know you use on your clients as well. A lot of times the night before a show, after prejudging, and what the benefits are, and what why some people think it doesn't work, but yet the science of why it does work, and that's more important. Now, Brian, I know that I used to apply it to you when I first started helping you a little bit, and then you started applying it to your clients, and it's like magic. I always find that I tell people, if you're lean and shredded and dry, a junky meal like a burger and fries, and I don't know what it is, and I happen to like McDonald's. I feel like it's very well tolerated
I use Five Guys.
It seems to work magic on people. You give them that meal. If you give the same person that meal and they're not in shape, however, it could be a disaster. Thoughts?
Correct. I agree. I've seen it happen.
Yeah.
It's actually happened to me a couple times. So
yeah. The key is that the person has to be very depleted. Now, my theory on it, and I want you to tell me how you apply it to your clients. I'm just going to give you how I do it. What I do is, especially for like women, like the bikini girls and the figure girls, they don't want them quite as ridiculously dry and sucked out, because it kind of ruins their shape and flow, and especially with the bikini, their roundness. And even this with the open men's bodybuilding, same thing. If you get too hard and you become angular as opposed to billowy in the muscles, it can be detrimental. For some reason, you can give someone 1,000 grams of carbs and they can't fill up on clean food. And I find that if the night before a show someone's looking almost too good, that's not a good sign, because it usually means overnight they're going to dehydrate more and they're going to be super flat in the morning. So I like to give them something that's going to buffer their bodies a little bit. And it seems like the fats, the crappy fats in like a burger and fries and all these saturated fats seem to work better than the healthy fats that we normally use during diets, like the monounsaturates, the polyunsaturates. They don't do the job of filling out the muscles. And I don't know exactly why, if it's the salt content of the meal or if it's the grease, but it seems like junky fats, really seem to have a favorable effect on the body at filling it up and putting just a little layer maybe of buffer there, so that when you go to sleep, that buffer disappears, and when you wake up in the morning, you seem to be perfect. It seems to work almost every time with my clients. I usually give it to them after they're done drinking as a last meal, and usually it's an add-on meal the night before a show. How do you apply it, and what have you seen with the people that you've used it with?
I do exactly the same thing. It always worked for me, so I apply it to them. Just like a smart person would do. It sees it works, I continue to do it.
And the funny thing, Brian, and I don't know if you notice this, is that if I have some people that are neurotics and they'll like, well, Dave said to eat a burger and fries, I'm going to cook my own. And they go out and they buy lean grass-fed beef, and they grill it on the grill, and they put they get a Sprouts, Ezekiel sprouted bun, and they get they make their own, sweet potato fries, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work. I don't know what's in the food in these fast food places. It's probably not good for you on a regular basis, although I ate it every day for almost 10 years, and I have no ill health problems from it. But there's something in there that the body needs when it's in a depleted, fat-deprived state. And when I say fat-deprived, I mean body fat-deprived, not necessarily dietary fat-deprived state. And when you put that in there, it does something to the body. And people will complain, Brian, that, you can't give a burger and fries, sometimes I'll even do it the morning of, if there's an afternoon prejudging, a late afternoon, but I'll do it in the morning sometimes too, like a 12 noon. People say, it can't get in that fast. It's not that it's getting in that fast. Because I've gone to McDonald's with you, you've seen me, and I've eaten them. While I'm eating the meal, you can see my arms inflating in size and veins popping out. It works immediately. And that I wish I had an exact scientific basis of what was going on, other than to tell you it works.
It works, correct. That's what I said. Like, my clients have won over 30 overalls this year, and almost all of them we had the burger and fries. Now, there were a few cases when I didn't do it,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I didn't want to chance it. So they weren't quite as hard and quite as dry.
Yeah.
So in that case, you know, sometimes I won't give them the bun and sometimes I won't give them the fries.
Yeah, me too.
For the most part, I give them the red meat and I give them usually a double patty.
Yeah.
Usually do about 8 to 12 ounces, depending on the size of the bodybuilder or the
double quarter pounder works perfect.
Yeah. I agree.
You know, or what I used to do is, and you know, you've seen me in McDonald's, but I used to get 6 plain, you know, single patties and put them on 2 buns because, or 1 bun sometimes, because I found that the buns absorb some of the, I don't like greasy, like dripping greasy type stuff. So the buns kind of absorb some of that greasiness. And so I didn't have to taste it like in my mouth, like flowing down my chin. But I mean, it doesn't really matter. And it's funny that I know they have Angus burgers there, and their Angus burgers are a little leaner and healthier. I found that it works best with the regular burgers, you know, the double quarter pounders. Now, In-N-Out burger works really well too. I've used that before as well. And there's another. What's the other one? I don't like the Five Guys, but I have clients that use that very successfully.
I use
too.
Five Guys. That's what I use because I know that.
I just don't like the fries there. I think that they're not as good as McDonald's. I think that's why I like the McDonald's, but it works.
Well,
it's greasy enough. Smash Burger works too. You know, I know people that use that.
Well, not everybody has Smash Burger.
No, I know, but that's more of a newer place. I don't like Burger King. I'll tell you why. Burger King. They say they're flame broiled, but they're really not. So they put like a seasoning on it to make it taste flame broiled. And that seasoning, I know at least in me, and a lot of other people have told me the same thing, it comes up on you. You'll be burping that up for the next 24 hours. You know?
Yeah. I can't eat it. It gives me gas bad.
Yeah. I don't like that, so I don't use that. So McDonald's is always work. And the key with McDonald's is you got to tell them to hold the pickle and the onions. Because those onions will get you every time.
Got to be plain. You know, that's what I have. Plain with a little bit
ketchup,
of ketchup.
You know, seems to work really well.
Yeah.
And it sounds counterintuitive. You do all this hard dieting, you eat so healthy, you do all this hard work, and then you're going to put a burger and fries. People freak out. They're like, I don't know if I can do this. I'm like, do it. Trust me.
Got to do it, right. Yeah. I have people saying that all the time. And I've had people actually not eat the burger and not tell me about it. And then after the show, like, man, you didn't look as good as I thought. Well, I didn't eat the burger. I'm like, I told you eat the burger, you know? It happens with women a lot where they don't eat the burger.
Yeah.
And then after the show, they come clean and they're like, all right, next time I'll eat the burger.
I had a veggie burger, they'll tell me. I said, you can't. I said, if you would have had a veggie burger from like a regular like fast food place, it'd probably be all right because it'd probably be dripping in fat. But you can't eat too healthy. It's not a healthy meal. It's not meant to be a healthy meal. It's meant to be a dirty meal. And the reason you're doing it after you stop drinking is because there's no water retention. It's going to pull everything into the muscles that's under the skin. It actually draws, I think, subcutaneous water. It pulls that into the muscles somehow. I don't know how it does it, but it works wonders. I have guys that like, I'm almost pissed off sometimes that I didn't make them wake up at like, you know, early in the morning and do a burger and fries because they look so good after prejudging after that burger and fries meal that I'm like, man, I should have given them another one earlier in the day. But those are guys with like ridiculously fast metabolisms.
I had a guy who had 8 burgers since the show was Saturday and we started burgers on Tuesday because I was giving him 2 cups of rice with every meal.
It didn't help.
And he was just getting smaller and smaller and tightening up. And I was like, well, we got to throw 2 burgers in today, 2 burgers in tomorrow. And it actually went from like 201 to show day. He was like 209, 210. So it actually worked. Yeah. So it slows down the metabolism a little bit too, I think.
Yeah, you know what? When I was off season trying to grow, when I put a McDonald's meal in every single day, which is what I was doing the last like probably 8 years of my career, I didn't need to eat as much food during the day. It seemed like I grew better from that. And I don't like, maybe what it's doing, Brian, you might be right, is slowing the metabolic rate down a little bit so that you can absorb your meals better. Because when I ate super clean, I could eat 20 times a day and I couldn't hold weight on. But if I ate through one junk meal in a day, it was like magic. It worked, you know? And, you know, we're not telling you to eat burgers every meal. It's like, you know, it's a one meal type of thing, you know, maybe 2 meals if your metabolism is ridiculous and you're super lean, and it just has an effect on the body. And I think it's because the body is in such a depleted, fat deprived, in terms of body fat deprived state, that it's just the body wants it. It wants to grab it and it wants to put it every place that it needs to be. Because if you deplete too much intramuscular fat, that's not good either. That will make your muscles flat. You can be completely glycogen loaded, but if your intramuscular fat is depleted too much, you can't get a pump.
I also think it helps with your overall feeling the day of the show, and your to pose better and not be so depleted and just like blah. What happens when you're depleted? You're posing, you look flat, you can't get going.
Right.
But you have that burger, you're like, oh, here I go. I'm popped up now. So I visibly can see it happening on guys. Like 30 minutes afterwards, I make them lay down, then I have them come see me, and it's like, look at that.
It's like a heroin shot for bodybuilding. It's like it wakes your brain up. I don't know if it does something to the neurotransmitters. It's just Blackman would say, serotonin. It's the serotonin from the bun and the fries. It's the feel-good hormone. It's the feel-good neurotransmitter.
Good impression. That's a very good impression.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time with them. I perfected it. But the thing that I think people don't realize, it's not about absorption. It's about what's in the components of it. It's a salty, greasy meal, and the body hasn't seen these foods.
Hasn't seen that in a while, so it wants to take it in.
It sucks.
You know what I mean? So I agree.
And you know what? And it also I think it also has an effect on prostaglandin and hormone processing. I think that it's a precursor to cholesterol is a precursor to a lot of steroidal hormones in the body, and I also think one of them is aldosterone. And also, you have to take into account the fact that I think it influences the inflammatory prostaglandins. Now, you don't want a lot of inflammation in your body on a regular basis, but I believe that if you reduce inflammation too much, that you can be flat. And I've seen this because I eat a very anti-inflammatory diet now because especially when I had my shoulder problems, I wanted to keep the inflammatory process at bay. Plus, I don't want to have any heart disease, even though I don't have heart disease, which is lucky. So I eat an anti-inflammatory diet. Sometimes I get really flat, and when I put in some red meat every once in a while, I put in some kind of go to McDonald's or have something that's pro-inflammatory, my body seems to look better. So you don't always want an anti-inflammation. You do need some degree of inflammatory. What I'd like to really do some experimentation on is, Bill Llewellyn makes that product X Factor or Factor X, and it's arachidonic acid, which is the pro-inflammatory precursors, to the fatty acids. It's an omega-6 fatty acid that's a precursor to prostaglandins that cause inflammation in the body. And he's found, they've done a lot of research studies, that if you take more of this while you're in an off-season scenario, you'll grow better, because that inflammatory response is important to muscle signaling and repairing muscle and building muscle. So I wonder if you added some of the Factor X in, and I sell it on DavePalumbo.com because I believe in the product. If you added that in like the last week, I wonder if you would fill up better. Maybe we should start experimenting with that a little bit too, because I think that might have something to do with why the burger meal works so well.
Makes sense.
Yeah. What now? Let me ask you a question. Like, what will you give a bikini girl? How much to eat? Give me a typical last day of eating for a bikini girl.
It all depends on where she's at. You know what I mean?
Well, let's say she's in shape and she's ripped.
She's in shape, then I give her the burger.
Yeah, but what else do you give her during the day? Give me a typical full day of eating.
We stay with the same diet that we were doing. Mm-hmm. We don't want to. I increase her macadamia nut oil.
So you give her fat and protein.
Yeah, I give her. I don't give her a lot of protein. I keep the protein lower, and I give her a little bit more carbs on the day before.
How high will you go with like a bikini girl on carbs?
100.
Yeah.
Not crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't want to get a big spike.
No, I know, because girls will smooth out fast too if you give them too many carbs.
Yes, they go the other way, super fat. So, and especially if I'm there, I can give them a little bit more.
Right.
If I'm not going to be there, then I stick to around 100.
Right.
But if I'm there and they're looking better as we're adding the carbs and the fats in, I'll give them a little bit more, and we'll even have the burger. A lot of bikini girls don't get the burger.
Yeah.
Because I want to be safe with them, and sometimes it'll pop their lower belly out too. So, try to keep that in mind as well.
What do you do if these girls can't poop? What do you do? Because a lot of times these girls will get constipated. I mean, I give them Fiberlize, obviously, twice a day.
Fiberlize is our go-to.
Yeah.
Smooth Move Tea.
Yeah.
Works really well. Vitamin C, 3,000 milligrams.
Yeah.
That works well.
Sometimes some of these laxative type things, like the Super Dieters Tea or Smooth, if you give them too much, it also depletes them too much because it causes them to lose electrolytes, I find.
And you know what else I've been using is that Bubby's sauerkraut.
Yeah, you think that makes their stomach better?
I swear by that. It really pushes it out. You know what I mean?
I know it's good for their gut just because the probiotics, but I didn't even think about using it as an ability to help them go to the bathroom a little bit.
Yeah, it really works. I mean, I have 10 girls right now that are all having it, and they're like, wow, it really works. They're surprised on how good it worked.
Yeah, and it tastes, I think it tastes good. I never liked real sauerkraut that you get like at Nathan's hot dog place, but the Bubby's is like a much crisper, cleaner sauerkraut than you
I think it's fresher, and it's a better quality, you know what I mean? You know, it's $10 a bottle, so, you know, it's expensive, so, you know.
I drink the water out of the jar, too.
Oh, do you?
Oh, yeah, because the water has got more probiotics in it than the actual sauerkraut does, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense. I never thought of that.
It's pretty hardcore, but you know what? It doesn't taste bad. It's not like it's like I like the taste of salt, so for me, it's great, you know?
Most people don't care for sauerkraut, and then they have that, they go, you know what? I don't mind that. That's not bad.
And when you're dieting, everything tastes good anyway.
Yeah, it tastes so good. I give them a fourth of a cup every day or twice a day, and I still have it on a daily. So I'm
I do it too.
Good to go every day.
I go to down here in Florida we have Publix, and Publix sells it in the supermarket, but it sells out all the time. So when I go in there and I see it, I usually buy like 2 or 3 jars of the stuff. It doesn't really go bad. So
I do the same.
And I just keep it in the refrigerator. And if I feel like I'm getting gassy, or if I'm not going, if I just don't feel like my stomach's right, I'll up the doses of it, and it's like a miracle cure. It really is.
Yeah, and you would think that it being cabbage like that, it would give you gas and make you bloaty, but it does not.
You don't even need to eat as much. Like I said, I take a swig of the water out of there, and then I take a scoop of the cabbage with a fork and mix it into my food, and I just eat it all like that. I mean, it's perfect.
Well, I measure it out to that 4th cup, so I'm pretty.
I'm like an Italian grandmother. I just kind of like whip it out, and just. I estimate by my.
They got pickles too. I've been having those too. So.
Yeah, but everyone told me about the pickles. They never have them in the supermarket when I go. And are they dill pickles or are they half sour?
No, it's bread and butter.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're really good.
I gotta try those. And they're in also probiotics in there?
Yes.
Oh,
I'll do one serving of the sauerkraut in the morning, and then I'll do some pickles at night.
Interesting. Maybe we should put the Bubby sauerkraut on the burger and fries meal.
That's a good idea.
Instead of hot dogs,
Yeah,
Jimmy Pelechi's go-to was the Sabret's hot dogs that they would have on the hot dog cart on the side of the road. He swore by them. I think he bench pressed more when he would eat like 3 hot dogs before he went to the gym. I was convinced of it. My go-to is McDonald's, but he loves the hot dogs.
Sodium through the roof on those hot dogs.
But you know what? A lot of the powerlifters now are consuming salt before they go into the gym to train because it's hydrating them better, and they're stronger. And I noticed the same thing. I used to drink Gatorades, regular Gatorades before I went to the gym because I found that when I trained legs or any kind of big body part, I got a better workout. I didn't cramp. I was less likely to pull muscles if I was much more hydrated. Because I think you can drink all the water you want. You can guzzle a gallon down. You're not going to hold on to that water unless there's sodium there too. So sodium is your best friend, really.
Sodium in their pre-workout now. Just you get a way better pump, and you can feel it.
Well, I'm coming out with an energy drink, and part of the energy drink is the electrolyte, balance that we're putting in there too with sodium, potassium, and we're also putting amino acids in there. So, because I realize that, if you want to retain and hydrate yourself, and you don't want to dehydrate yourself, especially if you're using caffeine as a stimulant, you definitely need to have more sodium in your diet. I see most people drink enough water, they don't have enough sodium in their diet because they've become so stigmatized by the fact that it's not good for you. The only people that shouldn't be eating sodium are people that have high blood pressure that is uncontrollable. So the uncontrolled high blood pressure, they put these people on diuretics. If you consume sodium on a diuretic, it doesn't work. That's why the last day before the show, we cut sodium so that the diazide can do its job. Once diazide is done and the person's dry, you can put the sodium back in and just don't give them any water to drink, and and you're fine. I think that's people don't understand the science of what's going on.
Right, they don't realize that if you can't take the diazide and cut the sodium at the same time because it doesn't work that way.
Well, you can do that, but you can do that, but you can't do it indefinitely, right?
You can't put it back in. Yeah, you can't put it in. It's not going to work. It's just going to get blocked by the diazide.
Right. Well, the diazide won't work either. If you're taking in sodium and the diazide's pumping it out, you're not going to lose water. You might lose half as much water. So I like to give the diazide the ability to do its job with low sodium, and then once I see where they're at the end of the day, I can put sodium back in according to what I think they need, and let the diazide keep working a little bit,
With the burger, right.
Yeah, so I think that people get, I think there's a lot of people out there, and you see this. Brian likes to point. Brian always gets me all riled up because he sends me like links to like people doing stupid videos saying, "Oh, you shouldn't eat burgers and fries; it won't work," or "You shouldn't do this or that." And he knows I'm going to go crazy on it. So, and he knows I'll do a show on it. So, but
no, I just know that you'd be interested. That's all.
Well, you know what it is. The problem is that people want to portray themselves as experts. So they do these videos and they spout out science that really is not applicable to what's going practically speaking. In other words, on a regular basis, you probably don't want to eat a burger and fries, when you're trying to lose body fat, But at the end, before a show, these little tricks make a huge difference. And the reason why we recommend them is not because we want to sound like we know something. It's because it works. We've been doing it for 30 years.
Yeah, because I know it works, and I mean the results speak for themselves. If it didn't work, these people wouldn't be winning overalls.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean? So, I mean,
exactly. Now,
it's in the pudding.
Yeah. Is that your gym in the back I'm looking at?
Yeah.
Very nice. How are you doing over there?
Good. We're doing real good.
Do you like being in the gym every day?
Yeah, I like it. I don't run it very much. Joe Mazzone and Amanda Hatfield mostly run it.
Okay.
I just train people at both locations.
Right. Well, I mean, that's what you do what you like to do. But I'm saying you like having a home base, so to speak.
Oh, yeah. I really like it. Yeah.
I mean, because realistically, Brian, you have enough clients that you don't need to go into the gym and train anyone if you didn't want to. So you obviously like what you're doing.
Right. I do. It's more fun for me to train than it is to do all the online stuff. I like to be hands-on. The more hands-on I am, the better they're going to be.
Oh, of course they are, but I'm just saying a lot of people don't like to do that. I like to train people too. I just don't have the time to go to the gym, but I'm just saying most people now are lazy. They'd rather just sit home and just, do everything, via the internet. You're doing both. You're training people in the gym and you're doing diets online.
Yeah, it's what I know, you know what I mean? It's like, it's how I started, and it's like hard for me not to go to the gym.
Right.
When I'm at home, I should be at the gym.
Yeah. Would you ever consider opening like a big gym, like a huge gym on your own?
No, I don't really. That doesn't really interest me.
You don't want the responsibility. I don't either. People always ask me that. I'm like, I don't want to be bothered with the responsibility.
Yeah, it's a lot more work than people think. You gotta be nice to everybody, and you got 20 calls a day about this and that, and it's not for me.
I always give Steve Weinberger huge credit because that guy is in that gym all the time. Day and night, he's in that office. He's always there, and that's why the gym runs smoothly and he makes money. Because once you don't show up at your own gym, people steal from you, and the gym goes down the toilet bowl.
That's the number one problem with gyms. Your employees stealing. So when you're there and you got it running smooth, then it stays running smooth.
Yeah, I agree.
That's the key is to get it running smooth, and it can stay running smooth.
How many people you got at Nationals this coming weekend?
I just got one.
Yeah, I have a couple people, but. I told you, me, I'm boycotting the Nationals until they get rid of Steve Carroll as the promoter. So.
Oh, I remember the incident.
Yeah, I refuse to go back. And I can drive there. It's 2.5 3 hours drive for me, but I'm not going. And you'll see, they'll get rid of him eventually, and then I will show up again and cover the show. But it's out of principle. But I do think it's a great show. I love the Nationals. It's the last big show of the year, and we always get a lot of great talent out of that show. And
I think it's the best bodybuilding show of the year.
Yeah, I think so too, because it seems like all the heavy hitters save it for the end. Yeah,
they'll try North Americans, and if it doesn't go well there, they do the Nationals. But I also think it's because the 2 pro cards in the classes too.
Oh well, yeah, you got a much better chance of walking away with a pro card, and it's the only national show really that doesn't, aside from the USA, that doesn't have a masters division. So it seems like it's a much purer, younger person show, I find.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. Yeah, it's the best of the best at the Nationals. It's just no bullshit there.
Yeah, I wish they still had the title though. Like they could use like Mr. America and Mr. USA and all that stuff like they did back in the days. I know there was a whole trademark thing, but that was great back in the day. I'm Mr. America, I'm Mr. USA, and
right.
Now,
that was a little bit, bodybuilding was a lot different then, though.
Yeah,
we all know that.
So,
that's another show.
Yeah, well, that's a historical thing. But, the bottom line is that, I still believe that the level of talent at these shows, even though sometimes you have off years, is still really good. And especially in the new classic division, we're seeing freaks of freaks come out of nowhere.
Classic is definitely made people step their game up as far as conditioning and overall symmetry and, lines and everything.
I'm helping this guy for the last week with a friend of mine. And this kid is now, I'm not going to say his name, but he's all natural. And he's unbelievable. I can't even believe that the genetics on this guy. And I'm like, holy, this guy could be the next Ronnie Coleman. This is unbelievable. These guys are unbelievable. So there's people who say, oh, bodybuilding isn't as good as it used to. I'm telling you, the talent pool is still out there. And you're going to see within the next 5 years some really, really good guys making the current crop of guys look like crap. I'm telling you. I see
You remember a couple months ago, I told you I sent you that picture of that kid, and I said he's my buddy DJ trains him. And I was like, this kid's natural. You're like, no way, no possible way.
He was great too, that kid. Yeah.
There's no possible way. And then you interviewed him, and after the interview, you even said, I believe him.
and it's scary to see what he could do once he's not natural anymore.
He got third at the North Americans in the B class, and I honestly thought they could have gave him second all day and nobody would have said shit. You know what I mean?
But I'm saying these are the guys that will be the future Kai Greens of the sport, in 5 to 7 years from now. And, and we'll
he
be
does take something. He's going to blow up,
Yeah.
He took some clenbuterol, I think. He told me. I was like, are you serious right now?
I love to see these guys because they're smart. They're training and pushing their body naturally as far as it'll go. And then if they do decide to take that next step, their body's going to blow up like we saw Kai Green do, like we saw Ronnie Coleman do.
With nothing. Now you add in all that. It's a big, different ballgame.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Well, Brian, I'm going to go eat a cheeseburger and fries. I don't know about you.
Me too.
Good luck with your guy at the Nationals, and we'll have you back when you get me all riled up again about some new topic.
All right, brother. Good seeing you.
All right, guys. I know you love to hear Guru Talk. It's a show that a lot of people really identify with because it's topics that you guys have questions about. If you have any suggestions for a show on Guru Talk, put them in the comments below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, turn on your notifications, and guess what? We'll be back next week.